Hi, Jen Gilchrist here. Happy to be back with a weekly Oracle card reading with intuitive insights, inspiration to really support you in aligning with your higher path and purpose. My intention is that whoever's watching this will get some kind of message that will support you in aligning and navigating the energies this coming week ahead. I'm going to start with the Starseed Oracle by Rebecca Campbell. I always love this deck. She has a lot of really beautiful ones as well. And for those of you, as just a quick announcement that are in my community, you may be aware or may not be aware, but we have a Archangel Activation Series sale happening right now. I believe it's like over $100 off for the series. It's a really reasonably priced and powerful transformational series that you can check out the details in the description area. And it really supports you in connecting with your spirit team. There's a whole healing library of 15 archangels and videos on how to work with your spirit team and so much more. So I'll share a little bit more at the end, or you can check out the information page, but that closes on June 22nd in terms of the sale pricing. If you were looking at that, thinking about it, now's the time to check it out. All right, so let's check in here. Ooh, I love this. Star family. You are part of a team of souls. Call in support. This is really powerful. Last month in my workshop series, this came up where we worked with channeling and working with all the different soul families. And so noticing and tuning in, first and foremost, it's about connecting with your spirit team. So for those of you who are already aware of that, maybe you're just not making the time and space for it, right? So opening up the time and space in your meditation in your morning, or maybe you have a particular issue or problem or confusion or lacking clarity or feeling stuck in a pattern or cycle. Remembering sometimes to lean back and ask for help, right? The first step is that we have to ask. We have to ask the universe, God, our angels, guides, right? We have to open up and we have to ask and then pause our mind and our busyness to open to receive the messages. That's really the answer to our prayers, right? Is when we ask through wanting something to be better, or sometimes we just forget to ask. And that's a huge, important first step because we do have free will of choice. So we have to invite the information in. But on top of that, this is really specifically speaking to, starseed energy, or the fact that you are likely connecting with or from, a soul family other than here on Earth, right? Which might seem a little bit different for some of you, or might be a great validation. Usually starseeds have just spent time in other places, right? Or originated there, either way. But this is about recognizing that sometimes there's a little bit of feeling like you're never understood, feeling different than everybody else, feeling kind of like the outcast in some ways. And so oftentimes that's an indicator that this could be you. So take it as it resonates. This just sounds like you have some spiritual support that you haven't been utilizing or remembering to call upon, or taking the time to open up to receive. If you've had a busyness sometimes where we've asked, but then we're not quite enough to hear the messages. So ask your angels, ask your guides to really come in and to help support you. Star bathing, light body, crystal grid, transmission, and activation. I mean, this could seriously be just spending time outside under the stars, under the moon. I am not sure astrologically if there's any, what this week holds in terms of the moon. I forgot to check before I went recording on this, but this is really about you allowing yourself some healing, right? So I feel like there's downloads of information that wants to come through. Right. There's downloads of information that wants to come through in both healing form and information form. And part of that is about you creating a space for it. And you might even want to do some additional energy healing and very much more create that conscious space to Q&A with your higher self, with your spirit team, with the universe, and just being in the energy of just being is really how we get to receive. Oftentimes we're just too full and we don't create the time and space for it. Crystal grid. So some of you might actually be called to or enjoy using and working with the energy of crystals as well to support you in holding an energy. This feels like you've gone through a massive, shift. And so right now you've been in like integration mode of a shift from the eclipses likely that happened in late April and May, right? There's sometimes a period of time of integration where we're really stepping into in our physical reality, the energetic shifts that had already taken place. And so we want to give time and space for that. I feel like new information wants to come through, perhaps even will give you more clarity about a direction shift, or if you work already in your field of where you feel called to be of service in the world. Some of you might be called to shift careers. Like if you haven't been doing that yet, or haven't fully got that commitment going, you might feel this urgency or call or, desire to start taking action forward on that, which feels correct. And then some of you might already be doing that, in which case there might be a shift or an expansion happening, but we have to allow for that upgrade to come through us, right? So if you are feeling in this mode, it might be that you need to do some clearing, which is where the star bathing and energy comes in as well. It's like a healing, allowing for the activation and the downloads to come through. This is more around like some of the energy if you're feeling stuck that you might be healing. It says, I'm sorry, defenselessness, righting past wrongs, and uprooting. So I guess what I'm feeling here is if things feel out of sorts, if you feel discombobulated, if you feel stuck, if you feel like, it's like sometimes we can have like this major spiritual shift, but then it's like the body's still kind of holding on to things, or the mind is holding on to things. And it's time to just let it all go. Just notice and be curious about what has been coming up. Sometimes we forget, we want to force and push through. And we think that if things aren't going right or quick enough, then something's wrong. We've done something wrong. It's not always, I never think it's really the case. It is what it is. We are where we are, right? We may have been able to move through things more smoothly and quickly, but if we didn't, we didn't, right? There's no use in holding on to that self-judgment or punishment either. What this is saying is just take a moment to pause and let go, right? So if there's something that is withholding in there, then it's time to really kind of reflect on what's been coming up and not see it as a problem, but maybe it's our resistance to acknowledging it, releasing it, healing it more deeply that is making it kind of us be held on or stuck in between two worlds or two periods of time or two opportunities even. It could be a level of forgiveness for self or others. I do see the energy of like opening the heart, forgiveness, and letting go of, where you felt wronged or where you wronged others, right? Sometimes parental guilt can come up, or who knows, it could be all kinds of things. I think it's definitely, notice what's been happening in your world, what patterns, and instead of resisting them, just see it as opportunity of growth and just decide to choose peace. Now, forgiveness doesn't mean whatever happened in the past was okay or acceptable behavior, especially if it was toxic or unhealthy or cruel in any way. Or even if you weren't, if you're holding yourself into this space of feeling guilty, right, for a past thing. At this point, it's about letting go of the toxicity that happens when we hold on to punishing ourselves or punishing others, because it doesn't allow us to really step into that next version of ourselves. It feels like this is like allowing our heart to expand, which is an important piece of just allowing the evolution to occur. The last card is Breath of the Cosmos, My Will, Thy Will, micromanaging the universe. So both of these are speaking to like if you're hitting, trying to control, trying to push, trying to force, just pause, tune in. Maybe there's a slight adjustment and alignment. Maybe you've been thinking that you had a goal that you've been working towards and even trying is not working. Well, just pause. That is showing you something, right? Whether resistance in your own self is not allowing it, or perhaps a shift in direction, a shift in, maybe you've been a little on autopilot. Maybe what you were working towards needs to shift, or the plan to get there needs to shift. Maybe it changed altogether. Right? So just take all of that as information, powerful and important information that's going to help guide you in the right direction, right? And success and abundance and peace and joy will all follow when you're aligned with that higher truth of who you are and who you came to be, right? And so this is all part of that journey. Looks very, very powerful. So then now I just feel like, you can make this stuff up, but the Archangel Alignment series could be really powerful and perfect. It's both a healing library. There's 15 different healing activations that are both healing activations on each specialty. So there's 15 videos with 15 archangels that I love and work with all the time. And so there's a short video training on like who they are, how you can work with them, what their specialty is, what their colors are, how some ways to invoke them. And then there is a guided healing activation, which is both an attunement and an activation on their specialty. So now you've got like even if you've already worked with your archangels, you'll have a whole healing library on all these different topics from all these different archangels at your fingertips, which in and of itself is powerful. And if you're new to it, it's going to teach you how to work with your angels and guides, which applies to all of your soul family and your other spirit team as well. So check that out. It's an amazing opportunity really there for you if you feel guided in working with your spirit team. And if you already are working with your spirit team, plenty fine, then make more time for it. Sounds like you have the answers at your fingertips, but maybe you've just been in your head and your focus and your way of wanting to do it that is different than what is actually the path of ease and grace and higher success. Even sometimes we try to make it more complicated than it has to be. We don't really realize it, right? If we're spinning in a level of, especially when resistance and fear kind of hides that way as well. So notice and release that control, tune in, ask, how can I align right now? No matter where we're at, we can always realign, right? There's no sense in coulda, woulda, shoulda. It's about, what can I do right now? I'm choosing to let things go and just focus right here and now so I can move forward on that higher path of alignment. So beautiful. Share this message if you feel this would be supportive to your friends. Like, subscribe, comment. I'd love to hear how this was for you. And we'll talk again soon. Bye for now.